Good morning, everybody. This is Bernie from Stampin' Up, and welcome to another Friday card making session with me. It's wonderful to have you all join me, and I have some really beautiful card design that I want to share with you this morning that is giving a little bit of a last hurrah to our retired Stampin' Up in colors for 2020-2022. And also farewelling some of our decorative masks. So the card that I'm going to be demonstrating today has this sort of ombre-ish look, but I'm going to be using Cinnamon Cider instead of Bumblebee as a background just to see how that looks. So I'll just bring it closer to the camera so you can see I've integrated all the colors. I've got Bumblebee, Misty Moonlight, Just Jade, and Cinnamon Cider. And the little Bumblebee Trinket as well is retiring, as well as the Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. So I'm really sad, actually, that the Bumblebee Trinkets are going. And I'm really sad to see the last of Just Jade and Cinnamon Cider. I didn't quite know what to make of Cinnamon Cider the first time I saw it. But I really have grown to love it. It's sort of got like a copperish look. So we're going to design that card today. But before I do that, I've just got a couple of things I want to share with you. The first is a reminder that my bookings are now open for my Stampin' Up retreat, which is taking place from the 27th to the 29th of May. And this week I remembered to put the booking little address in there, so you are welcome to take a screenshot of that. So the retreat starts on the Friday evening at 5 p.m. and it ends on Sunday at 2 p.m. It includes all your meals for the weekend as well as morning tea, and trust me, see that photo over there? That was just one of the desserts that we ate. We had the most incredible food. The accommodation is beautiful and so comfortable. The waterfall on the property and the projects, we're going to be doing 6 projects this year. Each project will come with its own recipe card and a photo of the project, so you can take that home and replicate that as many times as you want. Time out, last time there was an on-site monsieur that was booked privately, and I trust that will be the same this year. I already have 7 places booked. There are still 8 remaining. It is still early days, but don't leave it to the last minute because I am expecting this retreat to sell out. So that's the first bit of exciting news. The second bit of exciting news is Annual Catalogue arrived for Demonstrators. And I got mine this week, and there are some stunning products inside. The in colors are beautiful. If you are a lover of bright colors, you are absolutely going to love the in colors. And I'm just waiting for my box to arrive, and then we can do a little bit of an unboxing video. So that's my news for today. So let's get started with this project. We are going to be using a masking technique, so I'm just going to set this to the side and just move this out the way. And for this video, I'm using one of these beautiful decorative masks. It is in the old Annual Catalogue, and I do believe these are all retiring, these decorative masks, but there are new ones in the catalogue. You're going to need some basic black cardstock and half a sheet of A4. I use half a sheet just so that it gives me decent coverage, and my standard cardstock cut at 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now this one was pre-cut for a different card compared to what I usually use, so this size is a bit different. So I'm just going to turn this into a tent shaped card just to keep the dimensions the same. So you'll still have your 5 1/2 by 8 1/4 and then scored at 4 1/8. So we'll set those aside, set the black aside, set the Cinnamon Cider aside, and let's get started with our masking. So I do recommend when you do a masking project, it is good to have something like a silicone sheet mat, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see. And it is good to have either washi tape or painter's sort of that masking tape. I think that's what you call it. I call it that green stuff that you put on the around the edge so that your painting doesn't go around where you don't want it to go. As you can see, I'm putting the masking tape on the middle of my silicone sheet mat, and I'm going to position this more or less halfway over it, and that's just so that it stabilizes that piece of paper. Then I'm going to bring my mask that I'm going to use, and I do just want to say that you can use any mask for this. I'm just going to particularly use this floral design, and I just want to check. Right, let's just turn it around. Then you need to lightly, without getting it on the design, tape it down on so that it doesn't move. Trust me, I have done that a couple of times already, where my mask moved and then I had to reposition it. So sometimes you do move your mask. I see in the new catalogue they've got some very interesting masks. Oops, I'm making a mess of my washi tape. So just tape it down on all four corners. I'll just zoom out there so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I've got to find the edge. All right, so on the edge, and because I know what I did last time to make it move, I'm going to just very lightly mask it down on the top, and I'm going to mask it at the bottom, just ever so slightly. Okay, rightio, let's get started and have some fun. So with this, where's my card? With this one, we're looking at the same orientation. I started with the Bumblebee, and then I brought in some side colors of blue, and then I did the same with the Cinnamon Cider. So I'm going to use my retiring Bumblebee, and I've got a blending brush, and I actually just color label them. So this one I've labeled yellow, so I will use this for all my yellows. I don't have a lot of space to label each of the 50 odd colors, so I'm just going to tap this off on the side, and then just gently I'm going to come in here with my Bumblebee. Now you can go as dark or as light as you want with your blending and your masks. I'm going light on the sides, and then I'm going sort of dark towards the center. I'm going to set that to the side, and then the next one I'm going to use is my Misty Moonlight, and I'm using the one that says blue. So like I said, these are the colors, the end colors that are retiring, and so I'm going to bring this in here. I am deliberately going into a little bit of the yellow flower petal just to give it an interesting look. And again, I'm darker in the center. Okay, move. Actually, I'm going to close that one because I'm not going to use that one again. And I'm going to close my Bumblebee because I'm not going to use that one again. Now we're using just Jade. I am going to really miss this color. It's such a pretty color. So I'm using a green. I've decided this is more green than blue, and it's coming in from the top. And again, I'm going into some of those yellow leaves, and I definitely will make it a little bit darker towards the center. Right, and then the last color I'm going to do is Cinnamon Cider. So Cinnamon Cider, so these are all available on the last chance list. The link for that is below, and I've used the brown on my blending brushes, sort of goes into the brown family for me. But like I say, when I initially found, oops, sorry, I'm going skew. When I initially saw this color the first time, I thought, oh, I don't know if I like you, but I have absolutely fallen in love with this. It just adds such an elegance to the cards. Okay, that is what I'm going to just set my cinnamon cider to the side because I'm going to use that inside. That is all I'm going to do. So now it's show and tell time. So this is where it gets so exciting because you actually don't know what this is going to look like. And bear in mind, each one looks different. So look at that. Pretty, pretty. I'll just take all my sticky washies aside. So there we have a very different look. As you can see, I've done it a lot darker on the Misty Moonlight there. This is a lot softer. I am now going to cut this out with a stitched rectangle die. So I'm just going to do that quickly and I will come back. Alright, so I have cut that out with a stitched rectangle die. I used the largest one in the set. And what I did was I gravitated more towards cinnamon cider. With this previous one, I gravitated more towards the Bumblebee because that's the color of the background that I was going to use. But I wanted it to be more cinnamon cider this time. So we're going to mat that onto the cardstock. All right. So we'll do that. Oops. Complimentary piece of washi tape. Oh, that's right. That's the one that it was sticking it onto the silica mat. Do remember to take that off. Yeah, and you can keep it on if you want, I suppose. Okay. Using my Tombow glue. So we'll just set that to the side there. Actually, I'm going to turn it that way round. It doesn't really matter which way around you turn it. I can move that off. And now I'm going, so this one's black, is a little bit stronger, and that's fine. Look at that, that's looking gorgeous. I'm going to now add the ribbon detail that I had over here. So you've got some options with this. I'm going to still stick with my Bumblebee. You could, if you wanted to, you could take the white crinkled seam ribbon and you could color it with your cinnamon cider stamping blends. That would be an awesome way to do it. Or you could stay with the Bumblebee, which is what I am going to do today. So I usually use tear and tape, and I just place a little bit on each end, and this is a very helpful way to save on your ribbon because let's face it, they not exactly $2 a pop, so you do want to be frugal with your ribbon. So what I do is I stick it down there, I bring it over the design, I stick it back on there, I loop it, and I bring it back down and I loop it. So instead of, oops, let me just stick it down. So instead of it going round, basically having 4 lots, you only have the 2 on the front and the tiny bits on the end. Cut that off, and now you can either put it down flat or you can mount it with dimensionals. And that, I do believe, I'm just having a look at my old one. Oh no, I didn't. I put it flat, so let's glue that one down. But you could pop it up with dimensionals if you wanted to give it a little bit of height. Okay. So there. And now with the other little bit of ribbon, what I've been doing a lot with my ribbon is I've actually cut it in half. And then you can just, with your thumbnail, just give it a little bit of a distressed look so that it gets some of those threads loose. There we are. And now I'm just tying it in the center where I want that to form a bow. Okay. All right. I'm also going to add some gold trim to this, and you'll be pleased to know the gold trim has remained in the catalogue. I was very, very happy about that because I've got, I use gold trim a lot, not so much the silver, but I definitely use the gold trim a lot. And I'm using it quite a bit on some of my projects for my retreat, so I was really pleased that it's there. So we've got the ribbon. Now we're going to do the sentiment, and I'm just going to put the card to the side while I stretch over and get the sentiment. I decided to use the words "wishing you so much happiness" over here because it's such a bright, beautiful, sunshiny card, and this is from the brand new On the Horizon set, and this is a gorgeous stamp set that coordinates really beautifully with the oceanfront stamps. So I'm going to emboss that, heat and emboss. So I'm first using my anti-static mat to do that. Let me just come in so that you can see. I'm going to use my anti-static mat to do that, and then just with a soft paintbrush, just brush that off gently. Then I'm going to stamp up the image using Versamark. By far the best. Oops, I got ribbon all over my stamp. That's no good. Okay, and all over my pad. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm stamping it up with Versamark, wishing you so much happiness. I'm just going to put it in the middle. I'm not too fussed where I put it because I'm going to die cut the message anyway. And then I'm using the black embossing powder, and I just keep a spare teaspoon in my craft room, and I just spoon it over. I find that's the easiest way to do it. I just got these containers from our local Kmart and just flick it off. And now I'm going to heat emboss that with my heat tool. So I'll just do that for you quickly. So you just need to keep it on the low heat, and we'll just wait for it to change. And you should see it will start going shiny. Okay, all done. So as you can see, it's all nice and shiny now where it's all been embossed. That I'm now going to cut out with my tiny stitched rectangle die. So I'll just go off camera and do that, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so that's all been cut. I used that size one to cut the rectangle. So that's all been done. I love the stitched rectangle dies. I would highly recommend you have that in your stash. It is so easy to create simple rectangles of all shapes and sizes. It's probably one of my most used dies that I have bought. Oh, now I've just gone and stuck it on the, oh dear. Okay, right. What I should have done there was just use my tool to take them off. Right, let's just try this again. So I'm just using my take your pick tool, And I'm just going to lift off the liners on that. I don't think I got that one. Okay. And now I'm going to position this at the bottom, wishing you so much happiness. And now we need the bumblebees. So the Bumblebee Trinkets, as I mentioned, they are retiring. And I am really sad about that, because they add a lot of interest to, especially the honeybee. There's a honeybee bundle in the mini catalog, and that's going through to the annual catalog, which I'm thrilled about. But yeah, it would have been nice if these little guys had stayed longer. Anyway, okay, so we've done the front of the card. The last thing we need to do, and I could have done that at the same time, but I didn't, and that's okay. And that's to do just a little bit of an inside design for the inner. So I'm going to do this one in cinnamon cider, and I'm just going to do these flowers on the side, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to glue, if I can find my glue, I'm going to glue that on the inside of my card. I actually like the darker, the stronger black border. And over here, you could opt to cut, let me just go out. You could opt to cut the white inner smaller and make another black mat too. That's another option you can do. So which one do you prefer? Do you like the Bumblebee, or do you like with a thinner border, or do you prefer the cinnamon cider? And I, once again, I'm gravitating towards the cinnamon cider. I really love this color. It is such a gorgeous, gorgeous color. So that is me for our Friday craft making session. Before I go, I do just want to show you just a little sample that I did very, very quickly this morning. So excuse, it looks a little bit messy, but I used the same mask, and I actually used my embossing paste. You probably can't see it, but I embossed it in the Misty Moonlight. Then I went and did the Bumblebee, and I got a bit messy. It looks like a candy there. The Just Jade, and then the cinnamon cider. But you can see it's been that I've used the embossing paste because of just the little speckles of different color that come through if you don't mix your ink through your white paste. And I love that look. So your re-inkers are, they look like this. If you're not familiar with re-inkers, they look like this, and I always suggest when I work with my clients and my customers that when you buy a stamping pad, that you buy the re-inker with it, because it will mean that you can keep your stamp pad nice and moist and full of color, but B, you can use your re-inkers in so many different ways, and I'll also will be demonstrating that on retreat. So just a little bit of a thought when you are purchasing ink pads, think about adding your re-inkers to that as well. So that's me for Friday card making session. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a little bit longer today because I took you through from woe to go, and I'm really, really happy to have you here. Now, just a couple of things. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed and hit the bell so that you get new notifications. I come on every Friday for card making session, and I wouldn't want you to miss my newest video. That's the first thing. The second thing is I would love it if you could drop down in the description below and sign up for my newsletter. In my newsletter, it only goes out once a month at the beginning of the month, so you are not going to get spam mail from me. There are exclusive tutorials that I make available to my newsletter subscribers that I will not be sharing either on my YouTube channel or on my blog. And one of those will be my color inspiration design cards that I make. So I am a designer for the color inspiration team. So once a month, I will load a card on there that you will have exclusive access to. You will not get that access through YouTube or through my blog. So they are beautiful cards, and I would love you to be able to get that. Plus, I always include tips and techniques as well, and things like my retreat, my newsletter. Subscribers always get first exclusive access to that. So really a lot of good reasons to subscribe to my newsletter. So that's me for today. And I just want to remind you that until we meet again, remember, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat.